Hey guys, it's Bethany of the Gypsy Bird Makes podcast. Welcome to episode 5. It's hard to believe that it's already been a month since I filmed episode 4. It's been a crazy month. We've gone through a lot of different things, but if you want to hear about that, stick around for the end and I'll be chatting about it a little bit more then. But I do have some knitting to share with you. I don't have quite as much as I did last month, but I do have some finished objects and a work in progress, a half finished object, and a lot of things that I want to cast on. So let's go ahead and get started. So let's get started with some finished objects. I have, how many do I have? I have 3.5 finished objects, and the half has a little bit of a story to go with it. But we're going to start with the order of how I finished them. So the first ones are these socks that I made for my husband. These are the May the 4th socks, and I knit these up for my husband on our road trip. We had a big road trip. We moved from Raleigh-ish area of North Carolina out to Texas, where we are now. We're in Lubbock, Texas. There's a whole series of vlogs that follows us as we go along. I'll link those for you so you can see them if you want, and I'll be chatting about it a little more later in the episode. But these were cast on mainly for my road trip because I was going to be in the car a lot, and I wanted to have something vanilla that I could knit on. So these were it. My husband has like size 13 feet, so they were perfect because they were going to take a while to finish. So I started these on May the 4th. I'm a big Star Wars fan and I needed a cast on for that day, and I thought this will be perfect. So I cast those on. I used my Simply Serving Baby Yoda, Grogu, Progress Keeper the whole time. And yeah, this yarn you will have noticed I got at LYS Day last month, or month before last, I guess. But I got these specifically to make my husband some socks. The yarn is Daryl by Black Elephant. They are based out of the UK. When I was making them, I was kind of like, am I gonna like that? It's not quite what I thought. Like, I thought there would be more color, I guess, than what there is. But after I got them finished and blocked, I really like how they turned out. They're perfect, and my husband will be happy that I filmed this and he can have them because he was quite disappointed that he couldn't have them before. So I do have 2 of them, you will see here, and then these are my sock blockers. They are my Moose sock blockers, which I really love. I will link who made them down below. I don't think she is making the sock blockers currently, but she does have an Etsy shop, and I'll link those for you. But for these socks, I did a US 1 magic loop, and then I also did 72 stitches, 20 rounds of 2x2 ribbing, and then I did 60 legs, a shadow wrap heel, and 62 on the leg. And then just a regular old toe. Sorry about that. My dog was leaning against the tripod and it kept shifting, if you will notice in that last clip. So we're going to start with these. Anyways, so these were the first ones that I finished this month. I finished them literally with about 36 miles to go on our road trip, which was perfect. So yeah, I am glad to have these off the needles. The next item that I finished was this adorable little cardigan. So I finished it's Pinson Cardigan, I believe, and this is by Nadia. I'm not going to try to say her last name, but I love her designs. This is going to be for my little niece. My niece was actually born 1 month early, so she wasn't supposed to be due until June, I think it was like 16th, but she came a month early, so right when I was in the middle of knitting this for her, she was born. I made the 6-month size for this fall winter, so no rush to get it to her, but I'm excited that now I get to ship it off to them and give it to them as a surprise. This was a little brioche that was done on the top part, and then really simple from there on. Really love this pattern. I decided to just do, well, sorry, I don't want to hit my mic. I decided just to do 2 little buttons, but the pattern called, I think, for 5, but I figured 2 would just be easier for a little cardigan like this. The yarn is absolutely amazing yarn. It is by my friend Natalie of Blush Yarns. This is the color Roses, is the pink, and then the contrast in the brioche here is Light April Showers. And I loved that I got to make this out of all of her yarn, all of Natalie's yarn, so I love this. Super easy. I was a little worried last month about doing the increases of the brioche, but it was super simple. I looked up a video and it really is quite simple. So sorry, everything is like getting twisted and moved and all kinds of things. Anyways, it's a day. So this was my second finished object of the month, and I love it. It's super cute. The next finished object I have is a request that my husband had. He asked for some fingerless mitts. In the wintertime, I had made him some before when we lived in Salt Lake City area, and he used them all the time when he was driving to work and back. But the dogs have since chewed a hole in one of those. So he requested a new pair, and I bought this yarn specifically with some mitts in mind. This pattern that I decided on, I was going between 2 different patterns, and he actually is the one who decided which pattern he liked better. And it's the Shreds of Fog mitts, and that's by, where is it by? By Woolen Tales. Can't even read my own writing, but it's by Woolen Tales, and I'll have it linked down below, of course. But this is the pattern. I have to say it was a really easy, great pattern. I ended up making the biggest size. I measured my husband's hand for all the measurements and things. The yarn does not showcase the pattern. In the pattern, on like the pattern photos, or I don't know how to say it exactly, the pictures that they had for the pattern was a light gray, and it really showcased the slip stitch of the pattern. But this dark gray, you really cannot tell very much that there is a pattern. Like if I had just done no pattern there, it would have been fine. But I started it with the pattern and I had to finish it with it. So I did finish 2 pairs. They're ginormous on, or one pair, 2 mitts, but they're ginormous on my hand. But they fit my husband perfectly. He tried them on as I was making them to make sure how long he wanted the length and how long he wanted the thumb. This is made out of Barocco yarn. This is the first time I ever used their yarn, and it worked out really well. This is the Ultra Alpaca, and this colorway is Phantom 6289. And what was I going to say? Oh yes, so the pattern called for 252 yards of yarn for the largest size, and I had 219 yards of this yarn, so I was really worried that I was going to run out of yarn. So I kept an eye on it when I was making the first mitt to see exactly how much yarn I used. I did end up doing, I think, like 3 rounds less on the hand part, on this part, 3 rounds less here, and 2 rounds less on the thumb per my husband's fitting of how he wanted it to fit. So I think that probably played a little bit into it, but really you did not need as much as they said in the pattern, because I ended up using 157 yards of yarn for the pattern and 72 grams. So I still have a good like 28 grams of yarn left over. So I didn't have to worry at all about it. But These are very warm. They're going to be great for if we move somewhere where it gets cold, because the 104 temperature here in Texas, you don't really need these right now. But they are done, so for winter time, wherever we might be then, he will have his gloves. So I was glad to get those finished and out of the way. It took me like 2 days to do them. It was a really quick knit, and it was I can't remember if the alpaca is DK or worsted. I will put it down here somewhere. But that made it really fast to knit up. I used the US 3, so yeah, that was that one. And now for my half object. So when we were traveling, we went first, before we moved here, we went first to family and visited and did, you know, some visiting and stuff like that. So my parents were there and my boys were spending the night at their house, and my youngest was wearing some knitted socks. It got hot during the night and one of the puppies ate part of the sock. My mom has 2 puppies, and yeah, poor sock did not survive. So I still had a lot of yarn left over from these socks, and these were the socks, part of the socks that I made last year for summer sock camp. I think they were the 9th pair that I made last year. I think I ended up making like, I don't remember, like 12 or 15 pairs of socks or something. So I still had lots of yarn left over because he had a smaller foot. So I ended up making another sock for him in the same colorway, and thankfully, thank goodness, I have good notes on Ravelry for my socks and my patterns that I use, thank goodness. So I was able to make it exactly the same, although I accidentally used a 1.5 instead of a size 1 on this one, but don't tell anybody. It should be fine. This one hasn't actually been blocked yet. I need to do that. But the yarn is Queen City yarn Noda sock, and it is in the colorway A Walk in the Woods. I got this last July in Salem, Virginia, at a little store called the Knit and Coop, which was really cute in little downtown Salem. So yeah, I was really glad to be able to make a second pair. Now it'll replace the one that got eaten, and he still has a pair of socks because he really likes his knitted socks. So that is my half finished object. This month I haven't really had the brain space to cast on anything very complicated, or to cast on anything more than, like, you know, has a lot of stockinette in it. So I currently only have one whip, and it is the Belleterre that I was working on last time as well. And honestly, I've only been working on it for 2 days because I was working on finishing up the other things, and then I almost cast on a couple of things, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So this, what I'm about to show you is the Belleterre Cardigan. It's by Amy Christoffers, and I still haven't figured out if I'm going to have enough yarn. So I'm just chugging along with it. But I have gotten a little farther. I'm in the middle of a row right now because why wouldn't I be? But last night I did end up splitting for the sleeves. So it is looking good. I need to try it on. Maybe I will do that in a bit and record what it looks like, but I don't know. It always looks like it's never going to fit, but this is fisherman's rib, so it's going to be super, super stretchy. So the reason why I'm in the middle of a row is I'm about to finish up with my first skein. I have 3 of this purple color, which is plum pudding, and then I also have 2 of this one, which is Pixie. And yeah, I just finished up with skein number 1. I am holding this double. That's why I don't know if I'm going to have enough yarn or not. But I stopped because I had to finish dinner, and I didn't want to have to put another ball in, and then it be all flimsy, and then me drop it, and then get frustrated. So hence the middle of the row. I'm also using my needle stoppers. These are by, I wrote it down so I wouldn't, Fox and Pine Stitches. They're on Etsy. I'll have them linked down below. Really, really love these. They work really well, so it was the perfect time to use them. Like I said, I did split for sleeves last night, and I am using my barber cords for that. I absolutely love them. I just recently got them this year. Yeah, they're lifesavers. I love it. I'm going to use the longer one later to try this on to make sure that it is fitting, but I think it will because it's going to stretch a whole bunch. So for the last 2 nights, I have worked from my little Soot Sprite, which is Simply Serving Progress Keepers. So I got about 1.5 inches of work done in the last 2 nights, which isn't too bad. But yeah, it is coming along. Hopefully next month it will be done. We'll see. I think I'm gonna have enough yarn for the body, especially. It's the sleeves and the neckband that are worrying me. There are a few skeins I found on Ravelry of this, and I might email Yarn Cafe Creations and see if they have any like lying around that they want to sell and get rid of. But we'll see. We're just gonna keep on going. So I don't know. It says to do 18 inches under the sleeve, like under where you split for the sleeves. But that seems extremely long to me. So I'm going to probably be able to cut back on some of that yardage with not making it quite so long. I need to look at my brioche hug and see how long it goes. And maybe that'll give me a good idea of how long I want it. I would say probably 15 inches at the most would be enough. So cutting 3 inches off would be really good. It would help me yardage wise for sure. So I need to do that and figure out how long I want to actually make it. But I'm really enjoying this pattern. It's really going to be a smooth sailing from here as long as I don't run out of yarn, because it's just a 2-pattern repeat or a 2-row repeat, which is really simple. So I foresee this going pretty quickly. Until I split for the sleeves, I had to think about it, and it was probably almost a month that I didn't work on it, at least 3 weeks that I didn't work on it. So it was kind of like picking up where I left off, figuring out what I needed to still do, and I just kept putting it off because I didn't want to put that much time into it and didn't want to think that hard. But I did a couple nights ago, and I'm really glad. So now I have this all ready to go. Oh, and let me tell you, this is in a bag by Mountain State Stitches. It is Jenny's bag. I love it. Holds all of my yarn, no problem. I'm also using Nitty Natty's, what are they called? Yarn Cozy Lights. I have all of my yarn in these. This is an amazing pattern. I need to make some more because I'm actually have used all of them in projects right now, which doesn't make sense since I only really have one project, but I'll explain that in a minute. But the pattern is amazing. It's super fast. You use like 12 grams, so if you have a lot of scraps that you want to use up, this is a really great one. And then especially if you have that yarn that you just love and you used it in that one project, but you don't have enough to make something else out of it, using it in a Yarn Cozy is really great. So I have a lot of these, and this is the 100 gram skein one. She also has a 50 gram and a 20 gram one as well. And she's currently test knitting some crochet versions for you crocheters out there. So like I said, I only have one work in progress right now, but that doesn't mean that I haven't really been working on something else. I am taking Nitty Natty's Perfect Fit Sock class. It just started this past week, so we're just getting into the measurements and stuff, but I have my yarn picked out. I am using Southern Story Times. These aren't the droids you're looking for. This is the colorway. You can see my little, here, let me show you. These all twisted. This is the stitch marker that I was talking about earlier that I used. That's by, whoop, yeah, there we go, by Simply Serving, and I love it so much. This yarn I have had in my stash since before COVID, so it's been there quite a while. Of course I had to get it because it was Star Wars themed, and thinking about it, I probably should have used this for my May the 4th socks, but that's okay. We're gonna use it now. So I'm using this one to make my Perfect Fit socks for the class. It's a 6-week class that she does, and I've heard really great things about it, and I love Natalie. She's a great friend. So I'm excited to get the perfect fit for my socks and for others. I have done my swatch. We had to do this in this week's lesson. So this is my swatch that I made. So I have been kind of knitting on something else, but that's my swatch. I'm excited to see how this is going to gonna knit up. It's kind of like an R2 3PO colorway, which is gonna be fun. I'm excited to see how it's gonna knit up in a sock. So this will be a project that I'm working on over the next 6 weeks. Yeah, so it's kind of started, kind of hasn't started yet, but it's gonna be my first official entry into Summer Sock Camp, which is hosted by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady. If you don't know, she runs a knit along for socks every summer. This is her 3rd annual summer doing it, and I've participated in all of them, so that's really fun. This year I don't have any goals for Summer Sock Camp. I'm just kind of going with it. I'm gonna knit however many I want to knit, or when I feel like it. I haven't been really into sock knitting recently. I have a lot of socks. I probably need to knit my kids a few more, so this summer maybe I'll do that because they like to wear them a whole bunch, and so does my husband. So maybe I'll knit for other people. But the problem is, and I don't know if any of you other knitters feel this way, I get this yarn and I love it, and I'm like, oh, I want to make myself something special with it, and I'm like, oh, it's socks. But then I'm like, but I don't really want any more socks right now. And then the yarn just sits there. So, I don't know. Tell me if you feel that same way. 'Cause I definitely do. I'm a little bit selfish when it comes to my yarn. So that one is going to be, it is a kind of whip, but not really. Anyways, I have a few other things that I am wanting to make. This one, I've talked about this for months and months, but I did get a little farther this time. So I have done a swatch for the socks. The pattern calls for a 1.5 or US 1.5 needle, and normally I use a US 1. So I wanted to see if the gauge matched with the 1.5 or if I could just use the 1. So I have gone ahead and made that swatch. You can see here, if I get the yarn out of the way. So that is the swatch that I've made, but that's as far as I have gotten. I have not measured the swatch, which I need to do. So I will be doing that soon. I wanted to wait. I was going to do it on Thursday, but then Summer Sock Camp wasn't going to start until the following couple of days, and I wanted them to count towards Summer Sock Camp. So then that's why I started working on the Belleterre again. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I do have the yarn. I'm a little concerned that if I'm going to have enough of this color, which is the gray. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. But this was the gray that I used in the Bronte sister shawl with my mom, and so is this purple. I think I'm just going to use this for the lace part and not for the cuff and toes, because I definitely won't have enough for that. So I think it'll be mostly purple. This, I have plenty of purple yarn left over, and purple is one of my favorite colors. So that is going to be a future cast on. Maybe I'll get to it this time. I mean, at least I know I want to make it because it's been months and it's still something that I want to make. So at least I'll know I'll like it and want it. Another item that will be a future cast on and probably cast on this month hopefully is the Autumn League pullover, and that is by, where did I write it, Alexandra Tavel. My sister-in-law Sabra, or my sister, made it, and when we were visiting this past month there, my daughter saw her version of it and absolutely fell in love and was like, I want one of those in that same color, exactly the same way. So luckily Sabra had some leftover yarn and was like, I'm not going to use it, so she gave it to me, thankfully. Let me see if I can get it to, there we go. So it's this really pretty purple tweed. It is City Tweed by Knit Picks, and this is in the Gala colorway. So she gave me this ball and then partial of another ball that she had, and I just need to order some additional balls of yarn, and then I will get started on that for my daughter. So that's going to be a really simple knit. It's a lot of stockinette, and this is DK weight, so it should go by really quickly. But yeah, I'm excited to make that for her. Sabra's was beautiful, and yeah, it kind of made me want one too. So we'll see what how my daughter likes hers, and then I might make myself one too. But that's another future cast on. And then I also have another one that I am wanting to make. So I think last episode I was talking about how I wanted to make a shawl for myself, and I didn't think that I would go with the Bronte sister shawl again, and I decided that I'm not going to do that one again, but I'm going to do the Marvelous shawl by Leslie Ann Robinson. I had a whole bunch of different shawls that I favorited on Ravelry and kind of compared and decided which one I really loved the most, and that's the one that I decided on. So I'm kind of wanting to get a little farther in the Belleterre Cardigan before I cast on this, because once I cast on this I feel like I'm not going to want to make anything else, because it's going to be quite complicated and need my full attention probably, but who knows, I might cast it on soon. So this is in a bag by Black Pearl Magic. This is one of her sparkly bags, and I got the little tassel thing to go with it, or the handle. So I've caked up all the yarn. I figured out all the yarn I want to do. I took all of my yarn down. After the move, it really needed to be organized because it kind of got jostled around. So I took all of it out and organized it and picked out colors for this shawl, and I had a whole bunch of different options, and Sabra helps me pick which ones that I was going to use. So I'm going to show you those now. This is the first one I decided that I wanted 100% to use, and this is Madeline Tosh, and that it is her Twist Lite, and this is in Sun Up. So it's already caked up and in one of the yarn cozies, but this is the first one. I think I still have the picture that I took of all three in the skein, and if I do, I'll pop that in for you. And then the second one is this beautiful brown. This one I got last summer during sock camp, because I saw Kay make a pair of socks with it and I absolutely loved it. This is Barnyard Knits in Campfire. I think it was a special colorway for summer sock camp last year. So that is a beautiful brown with some hints of orange, which will go really well with this that has the orange in it. And then the third color that I picked is from my friend Natalie of Blush Yarns again. Let me see, did I write down what the name of this one was? I don't think I did. I'll have to put it on the screen. But this is one of hers. It's a green. I got this last summer as well. And I just think that these three colors are going to go really well together. I'm not quite sure which way I am going to, hold on, I'm going to try to do this without dropping them. I'm not sure which colors I'm going to do in what order yet, but I think those are going to be really pretty, and I'm really excited about it. So that is that. I have it all ready to start whenever I feel desire. I really felt like starting a new project I feel kind of like a slump, like I haven't really started anything new and exciting. So I'm kind of in that mood to really start things. There's a tractor right outside. I'm not really quite sure what he's doing, but I hope you can't hear that. We'll see. So there is one more project that I'm also really wanting to cast on. Since moving here to Texas, everything is hot, obviously. I mean, the average has probably been about 96 degrees since we moved here, and it's hot. It's really, really hot. And I would love to wear some knitwear, but obviously I'm not going to wear like a boxy or anything like that because it's going to be ridiculously hot. But a project that I've had my eye on for a really long time is the Summer Court Tank by Hoard Designs. Tristan makes beautiful designs, and I've knit one of hers before, the doe cardigan. And I really want to knit this one to go over like a cami or a dress or something like that. So I have this skein of yarn from Wool and Vinyl that is kind of like my unicorn skein. Like, I just love it so much. It's so pretty. I tried making like one of the bralettes with it before, but it just didn't work out. So I've been looking for another skein of this yarn because the size that I need to make of the tank needs two skeins. So I've emailed Wool and Vinyl, I've emailed the shop where I bought it from, I've looked on Ravelry, I've posted on Ravelry, all these different things, trying to find another skein of this. And so far I've had no luck. I'm not bold enough to email anybody and ask them if I can buy their skein because it just seems rude. But I'm still looking for it. So if you have it, or if you know someone who does have it and would like to sell it, please let me know because I would love to get it. So if I can find another skein of this beautiful yarn, which actually was made specifically for the yarn club in Norfolk, Virginia, so I don't think there were a whole bunch of skeins made of it. If I can find it, I will make it with that. If not, then I'm going to have to find something different to make it with, but I would like to make that. I've also favorited a bunch of other tanks on Ravelry that I'm considering making, and I've also looked at some shorts that I'm thinking about maybe making. Yeah, I just want to make all the things right now, and I want to make all the garments, so it's kind of a problem. So that is all of my works in progress, and hopefully soon to be works in progress. Hopefully next month I have a lot more to share with you in this segment. New segment for you guys. I'm really excited to be announcing that my friend Stephanie and I are going to be hosting a make-along this July. We are going to be doing the Radvent in July KAL, which is knit along, for those if you don't know. I'm really excited about this. Stephanie's really excited. This is a pattern that I saw a bunch of people making in December of last year. It is a pattern, let me see here. I have all my notes. I just need to have them here. It's a pattern by Amba. She is a beautiful designer. She has made so many beautiful patterns, and I'm really excited to knit one of her patterns. This dog's gonna drive me crazy. But it is basically meant for an Advent. So we kind of thought like Christmas in July type thing, where we can use up those Advents that we didn't know what to do with, or we can use up a bunch of scraps. So we're gonna have more information coming, but this is going to start on July 1st, and it will run until July 31st. The notions that you'll need and stuff like that, I'm going to be doing a video coming out in a couple weeks for you guys. I'm also going to be showing you what kind of yarn I plan to use and picking that out with you. I'm kind of using part of my Advent from last year and then some other mini skeins, so I'm going to spread all those out and take you along with me as I figure out what I'm going to use. I think Stephanie's also going to be doing that for you guys, and I'll be able to put that in the video. So that's going to be really fun. We hope you guys will join in and make a Radvent with us. There will be a couple of prizes up for grabs as well. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of throw that out there so you guys can kind of start planning for that, and also start getting some yarn together. So look out for a video coming out in a couple weeks that'll have more information on the Radvent in July KAL. So again, this month I didn't have an acquisitions segment because I really didn't get anything. I did end up getting my Fangirl Fiber May the 4th Crushing on You box. I opened that in the second part of our road trip and vlog. So if you want to see that, you can head over and watch that. I'll link it up above for you. And then also, I did get one thing that I'm using for my knitting, although it's not really a knitting item, but I'm going to just show you real fast here. I got this awesome bag. This is from, hold on, let me get my notes so I know exactly what I'm doing. Where did I write it? Oh, there it is. Okay, this is by a Sophie Allport bag. It's ginormous, it's huge, it's beautiful. I got this at this amazing store in Dahlonega, Georgia, where my sister lives. The store is called Crown and Bear, and I have it linked down below for you. She has gotten me several of these bags for notions and other things like that previously, so when I saw this one, I just had to have it. I love the print of the bees, and then the size is perfect. I used this to carry all of my stuff when we were on our road trip. I've been using it to keep all of my project bags in, the ones that have yarn and no projects, but I've been keeping it all in here and kind of just toting this around the camper with me. So I really love this. It's gorgeous. Again, I've linked the store down below in case you are interested, and also the actual bag website. Some goals for this upcoming month: I would really like to finish my Belleterre, or at least find out if I have enough yarn for it. I would also like to start and possibly finish the Wisteria Bloom socks, and I would love to start the shawl and see if I can get that. So those, maybe not finish the shawl, but I'd like to at least start the shawl, because July is going to be really busy with the Radvent, and July is just going to probably be a busy month in general. So starting the shawl, finishing the Belleterre if I can, and starting and finishing the Wisteria Bloom socks. Those are my goals for June. I don't think that's too bad. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. So what I've been watching and reading this month, I haven't read anything this month. With the move, yeah, I didn't have any time to read. I still want to read the third Bridgerton book, so I need to start that soon. But I have that to read. Watching, we didn't watch a whole bunch while we were traveling because literally we were exhausted. I mean, I went to bed probably at 11 o'clock or before almost all the nights that we traveled, which is very rare. I'm a night owl. I do not go to bed early, but we were just so tired. So we didn't watch a lot while we were actually traveling. When we got here and got settled, what did we watch? We finished Picard that we were watching, and then we started watching the show called Alone. I think it's on no, it's not on Discovery. I don't remember where it's on. History Channel? I think it's on the History Channel. So we've been watching that from the beginning. So we've watched all of season 1 and season 2 and just started season 3. It's pretty interesting. I think the next season has like pairs of people, which I'm really interested to see that. So we've been watching that, just kind of like, you don't have to pay too much attention, and yeah, it's been good. We are also watching Stranger Things season 4. We are about halfway through the season. We're trying not to watch it too quickly. We're kind of watching one a night or so like that, so that we can enjoy it. And yeah, that's it. Otherwise, I watch a ton of TV by myself. So, you know, I just caught up on Survivor last night. I'm just finishing up the seasons. I have like multiple episodes of shows that to finish up the season, since now everything's pretty much on summer hiatus. But yep, it's been an odd month, really. But as you heard earlier, we did move to Lubbock, Texas. I did do a 3-part road tripping vlog all about our move and about, yeah, visiting family, what we got up to, the hiccups that we had along the way, all of that. I will link those for you if you want to go check them out. And if you don't, I'll give you just kind of a little bit about why we are here and how we got here. So my husband is a travel nurse, and his new assignment was in Lubbock. So we took a week off beforehand. Well, technically he had 2 weeks off before he had to start his new job. So we went up to Virginia to visit my family, and then we went to Georgia and visited his sister Sabra and all of her kids, and that was super fun. We had the best time in Georgia, and then from there we went and I got to meet up with my friend Stephanie on the way. Oh, and when we were in Georgia, I also got to meet up with Jill, another friend from the Love and Stitches membership, and those were just so much fun to be able to see everybody and to take that road trip. We are really big fans of road trips. We love it. We've traveled across the country and back multiple times, so it's just really fun for us to do. We got here to Lubbock and we're welcomed with a crazy thunderstorm. Yeah, we've had several of those. We're supposed to have more this week, but they're quite intense. The wind is intense. The wind's crazy. We've also had a few dust storms since we've been here. We've been here 2 weeks and we've had 2, so apparently they're pretty common. But they're just really bizarre. They're crazy. They're crazy. I'll put in some footage for you, but yeah, it's quite interesting. It's totally different out here. It's different than the other parts of Texas we've lived in before. It's been really hot, and then it's also been quite cooler than we thought it would be. So yeah, it's kind of yo-yoing with the temperature a bit, but we're really liking the city. We're all settled here. We've gotten our rhythm and our routines down, and we're hoping to be here till about mid-October, hopefully. But I'll keep you guys updated on that. And you will see we do have a different background now. Not quite as pretty as the pond in North Carolina, but it's not bad either. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in to episode 5. I can't believe that we are already halfway through the year. But I really have loved seeing your comments and appreciate all of your support along this journey. I will be back in a couple weeks for a video on the Radvent Make-a-long, so keep a look out for that. But if you're not interested in that, then I will see you guys next month for episode 6. See you guys then. This episode's gonna be a mess. All right, let's see if we can do this. The next finished object that I have is for my husband. I haven't seen if I need to do anything different. I haven't counted it yet. Sorry, dog. River, lay down. I know it's hot. Lay down. Grump butt. But these dogs are going to drive me crazy. They're seriously going to make me lose my mind today. Anyways. Can you see? Can you see the tractor? I really don't know what he's like tilling up the ground, but I'm not really sure why. But the birds are loving it.